So I was watching a video. I'm sure y'all probably heard some of these reactions of like Korean girls watching Speed or Kai Cenat or Ray or Rakai or something like that, or just reacting to American content or hood content. And the thing about it is, like, when they react to these things, the reactions are like genuine, but like in a weird way. Like, they're not aware of certain stereotypes or things that are not true, but they believe them to be true because of what was shown to them. And that just tells me it's not really racism or anything like that, but it's propaganda. Let me explain why. When we think about propaganda, we usually think about Western culture, and although that is true, this also happens, like I said, in Korean countries too, Chinese countries, and other things like that. And the thing about it is, you start to realize, once you realize that every country has a certain propaganda. Now, mind you, this might be common sense to a lot of people, but you gotta understand, there's people who don't know this, because some people think, oh, they're just racist. Oh, da, 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 da. You can't really blame the people too much. It's because, think about it, right? For example, in Korea, like I said, let's say with black people in particular, or African people in particular, right? I don't even like saying black. So basically, if they're exposed to Western things, usually just hip hop or other things that are allowed, or what the government allows into their country, then that's where they're gonna think African people are, for example, or other races or other types of things in general. So if you looking, and for example, even let's say in the Karate Kid movie, it was kind of funny how, let's say, the Chinese chick and Jaden, right? They were talking, chatted it up, and she's talking about, "Can I touch your hair? Can I touch your?" And and it's funny because that's a reoccurring thing that happens all the time when it comes to us. And it's not really because of racism. It's almost like they haven't seen you before. It's almost like they seen you, like maybe on TV and stuff, but they never seen you. They don't get you. They don't understand. So it tells me that when there's a certain propaganda and a miseducation of certain things across the world, you realize a lot of these countries, they're just focused on themselves and their people. They can kind of care less of everyone else. And if they do, they're just doing it for agreements to help them out. Everyone is really for their own people. It's structured into groups. It's not unified like that. It's unified through agreements in certain aspects, but it's never fully unified. What it makes it look like to us is that if we're all about what the government allows the people to see, then it's just going to be filtered out, and it's not how we truly are. And I feel like that can be a problem, you know? And that's why I can't really get mad at the people, because that's what they've been taught. It's, if you grow up, let's say a racist, right? If a racist has a child, and then teaches a child racism and stuff like that, it ain't like it's inherent that the child was racist. Like, think about it. I'm sure you heard that China doesn't have access to YouTube, Google, and other like American type companies that show other content and stuff like that. China has done that, but Korea is a bit more open, but it's still nationalist. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where when you have a lack of access to something, you can't blame someone for not knowing something. It just can be a problem when it's a propaganda against us, because you don't want to know more about us or deeper intentions involved. You can even, now, I'm not just gonna go ahead and say, oh, this only happens in China. I'm just saying a prime example to keep the topic of this video, because I was watching Koreans. Now we can apply this to any others. We can apply this to people in Emirates. We can apply this to people in freaking Turkey, anything. I'm saying the most random thing. It applies to anything, but let's just keep it in perspective. In America, right? We only understand. See. Here's the thing: where a lot of us are convinced that we know what's going on. Let's say in Ukraine, we know what's going on in China. We know what's going on. When in reality, we do not know nothing. We noticed this when they tried to ban TikTok, but then all of a sudden they went to this Pocket app or whatever it was, the Red Note app, and then they all of a sudden see things. Because you got to understand, America itself has a propaganda. We think we know what we know, but we don't know. Like, we saw what happened when JD Vance and Trump was talking to the president of Ukraine, right? Or the leader of Ukraine, right? And then remember, JD Vance was talking about how he knows what's going on because of TV. But you got to understand, a lot of these things on TV that you see are not even real. A lot of these things are propaganda. A lot of the things we see it because we are allowed to see it. in terms of like what is broadcasted. So we all gotta think, what other things are we not seeing? There's a lot of things we're not seeing in this world. There's a lot of things, because knowledge is powerful, but a lot of people can't handle that knowledge. So for closing thoughts, it's we all gotta think about this. You know, we gotta understand that every country, every part of this earth has a form of propaganda. Now, when it comes to us people, us African people, we gotta understand, no, we are the most hated. You feel me? So there's propaganda in general, but we gotta also understand, right? When I did see these videos, they were cool. They were genuine. They were kind videos, but it was so like oblivious though. You know what I'm saying? They were oblivious though. It's like a gap or something that wasn't there. It was like, it was refreshing, but it was concerning to me. So we all have things that we are not understanding about each other. There's a lack of unity in that, and we gotta fix that first by understanding that a lot of these things are just propaganda. The dark truth about it is, we all gotta understand, it's all about control. You gotta have control of these masses of people, millions of people, billions of people. You got to control them, otherwise they'll be out of control, right? America has its issues, but other countries have their issues too, and propaganda is a huge one. So yeah, let me know if you thought about this, just random thoughts, Ikenga Thoughts. Let me know if you resonate with this, and let me know, have you noticed that when you watch videos too? Let me know, because you know what I'm saying, I gotta know. But yeah, that's all I got to talk about. Love y'all. Drink some water. Drink some water. God bless you.